Good morning, everybody. God bless you guys. Pastor Raymond Ramos here. It's 11:16 a.m. Eastern. What we got? It's March 14th. I want to thank everybody who showed up for my anniversary yesterday. February 28th was my clean date. I celebrated 31 years clean. Last night was the anniversary. Thank you to all those who showed up. I got so many texts and all the messages. So I'm grateful. I love you guys. Today's reading was about relationships, which was very. I am a relationship coach, right? I do premarital counseling, postmarital counseling. I get in there when people are having difficult times, and I'm blessed to be able to be what we call a sound voice. Share some wisdom, some tools, some resources to help people in their relationships. But today's video was on relationships, and it was about taking an inventory. And sometimes when we do an inventory, we write about relationships. It includes relationship material, and so I'm one of the guys that's big on writing. I think when you write something down, it's easier to see and harder to deny. If it's in your head, you could change your mind by from morning to noon to night. You can change your mind 16 times. So I think writing things down, capturing your thoughts on paper, getting to see them in black and white, real or imagined, crazy or not, you get to see it at least what's going on. And a lot of times, stuff in our head is an energy leak. It robs us of energy. So putting it on paper. So these are all great tools. Right. If you don't write, I remember they used to journaling. I was like, what's journaling? Great tool. Just putting thoughts on paper. If something bothers you, writing it out. So relationships. Writing about relationships was a big deal for me because if you're like me, you come with a blame thrower. You speak victim ease. You're the victim. They did you dirty. How could they be so? And we forget that we're the ones that choose to be in the relationships that we're in. Like if your job is horrible, who applied for the job. If you're in recovery like me and your sponsor is unavailable, who chose that sponsor? And on it, if you're in a relationship with someone who treats you, I'm not talking about marriage, but if you're in a relationship with someone, a friend or co-worker or boyfriend or girlfriend, and they treat you disrespectfully, then who chose that person and who's allowing that? So on and on in the process, I had to learn that I had to take a look at me, stop looking so much out the window and look in the mirror. Raymond, you chose this. You saw this coming. You put a down payment on this suffering. So grateful to God for the 12-step process. I'm grateful for the, I was able to hear some incredible speakers share their experience, share their hope. I read some really good books on relationships. Then I did some step work and finally surrendered my life to the Lord. Everybody knows Pastor Raymond and Recovery House of Worship and Rahab's Refuge. And people know that I'm someone who's fully devoted to 12-step recovery, and I'm fully devoted to Jesus Christ. And so I'm a Bible believing Christian, Christ centered, spirit led, and I'm 12-step sponsorship, home group, coffee making recovery person. And so, but relationships, I made a big post. I didn't know it was going to be that big, but I posted that I got two very, very people quote me a lot on these two big themes. One is that the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your relationships, right? So that's one. So the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your relationships. So, and only healthy people can have healthy relationships, right? So I went to leadership. One of my mentors had a workshop, a mastermind, and we paid to be in there. It was a group of us. And he said something very positive. If you're from 1 to 10, you gotta measure yourself. And if you lie to yourself, if you're dishonest with yourself, and you say you're a 10, then there's no room for improvement. And you got to take an accurate self-assessment. Sounds familiar to the recovery people. Are you a 5? Are you a 6? Are you a 7? Are you an 8? He says, if you're a 5, you're probably never going to get a 6. If you're a 6, you're probably never, people choose who they are, not what they want. And, and you have a lid depending on your character, your ability to love, your ability to be intimacy, your ability to have a courageous conversation. I have this whole conference on courageous conversations. Can you, survive your emotions and admit that you're wrong and go through a process of feeling your feelings and going through your thoughts and still acting in a healthy manner that's going to help you reach your recovery, your relationship goals, right? And so all this stuff. And so I needed to grow. I needed to become healthy because I wanted to have a healthy relationship. And that took a lot of work. It's so much more, I want to say harder. It was hard. It was hard to be alone and to detox and withdraw from codependency and to go through the withdrawals of not no affirmation from the outside, no validation from the outside. And being able to, get with God and really allow God to validate me. And can God be your all in all? And I was like, no, I need a girl. Like I had to be honest. Like I'm a guy who comes from deep codependency. I need sexual validation and opposite sex validation, and I needed to withdraw and detox from that and get with God on a different level and get with myself. And so, yeah, so I was able to do the work by the grace of God, because this stuff is like almost impossible with my own power, my own strength. I need the power of God. I need the grace of God. And so, anyway, I did the work. That's why I was able to help other people do the work. And that's how I became a relationship coach, right? Being able to help people be single, successful, and satisfied, and then how to pick someone that's gonna engage in a healthy relationship. I think I did 8 steps to a healthy relationship workshop, and I take people to that process. Anyway, so today's reading was really good. I like to always take an inventory of, Raymond, why does that bother you? Why does that affect you? I write down my thoughts and my feelings regarding any scenario that's significant in my life, something that rubs me the wrong way. I want to dig into my soul, what's going on there. Many people, everybody, has some untrue or unhealthy beliefs about certain things that cause inner unmanageability. Right? The devil is the father of lies. And if you're in recovery, know this in your 4th and 5th step, that the devil has convinced many of us, all of us, to wrap our wounds with lies. And we've been living from those lies all our lives until we do the 4th and 5th step. We get with 6 and 7. God does a spiritual surgery in our soul. We find out who we are in God, how much God loves us, and God made a way when we was messed up, and He loved us when we was at our worst. He brought us to recovery and all this great stuff. Jesus Christ died on the cross because He loves us. He wanted to wash away our shame, wash away our guilt, wash away our remorse, cleanse us white as snow. All that stuff that's in our soul, all that stuff that's corrupting us and keeping us sick and stuck on stupid and parked on dumb and blah, blah, blah. So the step work. I am an advocate for 12 steps. I tell leaders to do 12 steps. I help people who are not in recovery do 12 steps. I'm big on, dig into your own soul. Why do you do what you do? You're an adult. You're choosing to do this behavior, to participate in this behavior, and this behavior is counterproductive. This behavior is destructive. This behavior is leading you further and further away from your relationship goals. Why is it that you can't stop? Right, become abstinent of that behavior. We're doing a retreat in Marrakesh. The last weekend of this month, first week of April, and we're going to talk about a clouded surrender. Right, that people have a clouded surrender, and that's going to be pretty awesome. But when we're participating in behaviors that are self-destructive, and we know they're self-destructive, and we say we want to be happy, joyous, and free, we want harmony in our relationships, we want intimacy. So if I'm saying I want that, why do I do things that destroy that? And I got to dig into my soul to find that out. So I'm grateful that I've done a lot of work. I'm not perfect. Those voices still come, those thoughts still come. I still can get emotionally overwhelmed. I've learned to have a relationship with God and to spend time in prayer and meditation and to know that God is sovereign and Jesus Christ loves me and He's going to make a way when there's no way. And I'm able to survive my emotions and not let my emotions dictate my actions, not let my circumstances dictate my actions, but to stand on spiritual principles, knowing, having faith that God is able to do better than I can manipulate, control, intimidate, blackmail, gaslight, whatever it might be. So praise the Lord. My allergies are kicking up. So anyway, I think my 10 minutes is up. Ray Ramos Coaching at gmail.com. If you're interested in learning more about relationships, I got some videos on YouTube. We're doing a Courageous Conversations conference again. That's really good. 5 days free. You can email rayramoscoaching@gmail.com. You can find Ray Ramos Coaching on Facebook. And that's basically it. Today's reading. I usually talk about the Christian readings that I read. I read John MacArthur's book. I read Max Lucado's book. I read John Maxwell. I read a couple of devotionals. I read the Just for Today. I read some other more. Every morning I read certain books. I read a spiritual, the Principle of the Day book, and one of my 12-step fellowships. And so, all right, love you guys. God bless you. Thank you for all the love I got for my 31st anniversary. Thank you guys. I love you guys. We can get better. We do recover. You don't got to stay stuck in those destructive behavior patterns. God can heal your wounds, and He can cleanse those wounds, and you can remove those lies from your soul, replace them with the truth of His love, and you can live a life beyond your wildest dreams. I'm 31 years clean, married over 24 years. I have great relationships. I have great boundaries. It's beautiful on this side. It's so much work over there trying to make people love you and affirm you and do what you want, instead of just picking healthier people because you're healthier now and you don't got to work so hard to. It doesn't work anyway. So, all right. One day I'll do a 10-minute video. God bless you all. Ray Ramos Coaching at gmail.com. Ray Ramos Coaching on Facebook. Pastor Raymond Ramos also on Facebook. Recovery House of Worship. I'm blessed. I got a lot of different great affiliations in my